Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia, Amane's route. In the last episode, Yuuji sculpted a horse, although he didn't do a particularly fancy job. And Amane tried to get relationship advice from reading magazines and asking Sakaki Yumiko. Let's continue. During these summer months, the sun rises early. It's already growing bright outside. Yuuji gets up at 5 a.m. every morning. More exactly, it seems he's usually awake at 4:45, then spends 15 minutes half asleep in bed, slowly rousing himself. The time is currently 4:30 a.m. At this hour, even that freakishly early bird should still be asleep. Good morning! As a failsafe against him already being awake, I call out a greeting, but very softly. If I were to carelessly wake him up, all my carefully laid plans would come to naught. Carefully laid, but also pretty ridiculous. I heave a small sigh at my own idiocy and quietly approach the bed. Sleeping well, aren't you? Good boy. Yeah, sleeping like the dead, in fact. It's giving me déjà vu. They are a lot alike, even in some weird respects. Makes me want to laugh, but I've got to restrain that impulse for the moment. Alright then, here goes, I'm coming in. I slide onto the bed, burrowing my head under the thin blanket toward where Yuuji lies frozen like a hibernating bear. The tranquil morning air still has a touch of the night's chill. So the mildly warm bed feels really nice. Just as striking, it's full of the thick, intense odor of a man. The combination leaves me slightly dizzy. It's Yuuji smell. Unlike the familiar tropical fruit scent of Makine's body, it's a sharp musk that conveys a thrilling hint of danger. Young men have intense metabolism and sweat heavily. Objectively, there's no way their body odor could be pleasant, but abnormal as it may be, I can't help nuzzling my nose against him and deeply inhaling his scent. But pleasant doesn't have anything to do with it. This is Kasami Yuuji's scent. When I think about it that way, I feel like I could lose myself in this odor. I've often heard it said that when you come to love someone, anything and everything about that person becomes appealing to you. Have I actually falling in love with that man? Well, if so, that's fine, I guess. Either way, it doesn't change the fact that I need him. Alright then, Yuuji, here goes. What was that sound just now? Doesn't cut it, woman. What do you think you're doing? What? Can't you tell? A night raid! I have a clear and rational rebuttal to that statement, namely, it's currently morning. Okay, morning raid, I guess? Your choice of words isn't the issue. I'm trying to point out that it seems like a bad idea to use up all your energy before the day's even gotten started. This is just the way girlfriends and boyfriends do these things these days, you know? Come on, can't hurt, right? I think it probably can. Still, you're happy, aren't you? Yeah, I'm about to weep from joy. Good thing we started dating, huh? Feels less like we're dating and more like I'm being repeatedly molested. Sakaki did give me a vague warning, but I didn't expect such an aggressive sneak attack. Sakaki-san warned you? About what? I'm assuming you said something to her about this. She told me I was being targeted yesterday. Oh, that a fact? I figured it wouldn't be anything big, but clearly I underestimated you. Caught me totally off my guard. It's said that an American radar installation picked up the incoming attack on Pearl Harbor an hour in advance, but the operators neglectedly concluded that what they were seeing couldn't possibly be right, magnifying the eventual damage. Today, I was equally lax, and I too paid a heavy price. That said, since I was awake from the instant Amane entered the room and let her do as she pleased, I don't think an outraged declaration of war would be justifiable. And ridiculous as these hormone-addled antics may be, as someone who may well screw up at work one day and never come back, it's hard to get angry about such minor indignities. I knew early on that Amane had a fairly easygoing attitude towards sex. And that sizable body of hers has curves in all the right places. It's an undeniable feast for the eyes of any heterosexual man. Despite her dinosaur-like proportions, she's not a rough or crude tyrannosaurus of a woman, quite the opposite. She's highly precise, startlingly thoughtful, and an all-purpose housework machine with a particular talent in the kitchen. Her personality is frank and outspoken in a good way. She tells me honestly what she's thinking, making communication mostly painless. Still, that courageous front sometimes gives way to timidity when the girl gets carried away. All you have to do is deliver a brief scolding and she'll shrink in sorrow like an apoplectic dog. You can practically see her tail drooping between her legs. When she looks up at me with the best puppy dog eyes and mumbles, I'm sorry, with that pathetic expression on her face, it's impossible to maintain my anger, however well justified. In the end, I can't help but mutter, alright, as long as you got the message, and not in forgiveness. The girl's talent for emotional manipulation is downright fearsome. Yuuji, it's time to eat, so let's break out the lunch. I made more of that tofu steak you liked so much the other day, you know.
You don't play fair, woman.
What the heck was this coming from?
Don't think you can ensnare me so easily in this little honey trap of yours. I'm wise to you.
Huh? Ensnare? Sorry, I don't get it. By means of her culinary persuasion, she's insidiously grabbed hold of my stomach. Not to mention that since our relationship went public, she's become even more aggressively clingy than before. On top of which, she's taken things to the next level, periodically whispering, "Free go at any time, available upon request," in my ear. At this rate, I'm seriously going to end up unable to live without this woman. If she does end up becoming an essential part of my life, what should I do about it? Premature as it may be, if I'm considering what would be best for Amane, it's probably worth thinking about the possibility of an eventual marriage. As a general rule, planning your wedding while still a student is embarrassingly naive at best. As adolescent foolishness goes, it's right up there with confidently sending out your anguished poetry to literary journals. That said, a man owes his woman clearly defined intentions. Coasting along and indecisively is the coward's way out. I do feel guilty about the prospect of creating someone who'll have to mourn my death, but if I'm serious about marrying Amane, the biggest problem isn't emotional, it's purely practical. Namely, that's my job. In my workplace, making a trivial mistake at the wrong time can mean dying in a ditch with the dignity of some anonymous stray dog hit by a car. Most of all, it's an occupation that doesn't bear explaining to others. Say Amane takes me to meet her parents. Exactly what am I supposed to tell them? I mean, if I wanted to, I'm sure I could have some plausible, convenient workplace assigned to me as camouflage, but that would be a betrayal of Amane and her family. In other words, I have to quit. Since my 2-year training period in America, I've spent 2.5 years as a regular in Japan. At some point, I even rose up the ladder to acting squad leader, but there's still a good year and a half left in my designated field term. And even when that runs out, it won't exactly be, okay then, thanks for everything, good luck out there. The color's not coming off that easy. At best, I'll be a permanent reserve, subject to emergency call-out whenever the company deems my presence necessary. And 10 days a year, I'll be obligated to participate in a training camp for the purpose of maintaining fitness. In short, these chains don't come off until I'm dead. My life's just full of problems. Why, if it isn't Kasami-san, what are you doing out here? Is something the matter?
Oh, Sachi. No, it's nothing, just stressing myself out with some vague anxieties about the future.
Anxieties about the future?
Nothing you need to be concerned about. It's only natural for young people to worry themselves over such things from time to time.
I see. I believe I understand what you mean.
So, what are you doing out here yourself, Sachi? Lessons over already?
Yes, I promised the neighborhood council I'd help out with something after school today, so I'm just heading out.
Community service, is it? Very admirable.
Amane-san isn't with you?
No, I mean, it would be a little pathetic if I was constantly carrying her around like some toddler ragged security blanket.
No, I wasn't attempting to imply anything. Kasami-san, do you have any plans for the next few hours?
No, none in particular.
In that case, might you be willing to join me in my task?
I suppose I might be, but what would I need to do?
Yes, our town's boys' soccer team has a match today. We'll be supporting them.
As in waving a flag around and cheering?
No, it's really more of a supervisory role, I would say. We're primarily there to lay the groundwork so that the children can have a safe game, and secondarily to attend any injuries that may arise.
I see.
And why was that job left to Sachi in the first place? She informed me that the chairman of Mishima Cape's neighborhood council is an acquaintance of hers and passes on similar requests every once in a while. In a way, it feels like they're taking advantage of Sachi's pathological obedient personality, which does inspire a twinge of righteous anger on my part. But we can't neglect to give back to our community, and it seems the requests themselves aren't unreasonable, so I guess it doesn't quite rise to the level of unethical behavior on their part. Even so, if my assistant can slightly reduce Sachi's burden, I'll gladly lend a hand. When we arrive at the soccer field, which has been set up on a vacant lot not far from the ocean, the children have already begun to gather. There's even a few young primary schoolers still carrying their knapsacks, apparently having hurried here directly after school ended. As the group picks up on our arrival, there's a shout of, "Hey, it's Sachan!" And the children crowd around us in a relaxed, familiar way. From what Sachi told me, an individual named Sakaki-san had been coaching the town soccer team, but his chronic lumbago intensified badly a little while ago. It seems he's been hospitalized for a good month now. During that time, she's apparently been acting as a stand-in supervisor when she has the chance. Sachi's first order of business is to blow on the whistle dangling around her neck, gathering the stragglers to us. Once the group is assembled, she begins to introduce me. Specifically, this is Kasami Yuuji-san, a heartless monster of a coach here to ruthlessly beat some instruction into you. As the friendly smile I'd been planning freezes halfway to my face, my expression stiffens slightly, which in turn only acts to confirm her words. The children quietly gulp in terror. Alright then, everyone, please do pay respectful attention to Mr. Kasami's lesson. And with that, Sachi turns to me and gives me a short bow, then trots off toward the sideline benches where she begins preparing the sports drinks and such. Okay, I didn't hear anything about coaching anyone, woman. But I keep my complaints to myself. I can't just back down now. Not with this group of children in their soccer uniforms standing at attention in front of me, waiting for my word with bated breath.
I want you all to try and learn a few things from this match. First and foremost, the importance of adequate preparation.
Somehow or other, I'm a team leader at the company, which means I have subordinates under my command. I'm relatively experienced at giving instructions. The only way you're going to improve is through your own preparations, your own effort. Don't plan on getting better by learning from others, in the middle of a game. We didn't learn this yet, won't cut it. The only path that leads to competence is the one you forge yourself. A battle is all about the number of shots you've taken. In other words, the guy who's been practicing his shooting longer and more often is the one who's going to survive. You don't make split-second decisions consciously, it's all reflexes and you get those through experience. Knowing what to do isn't enough, you need to drill it into your body. The guys who stop to think in the middle of a field are the first to die. You get the picture. I tried my best to offer them vaguely plausible instruction, but I have some serious doubts about how much of that actually got across to them. And I suppose it's debatable how valuable the advice of a complete soccer amateur like myself could possibly be. Still, I do think the general principles are pretty nearly universal.
The ball is your friend. Love your friend. Kick the stuffing out of your friend. I have no further instructions. Complete a thorough warm-up before the match begins.
I conclude my little speech with a muddle of incoherent encouragement, but for some reason the children all shout, "Yes, sir!" enthusiastically. Within seconds they begin performing energetic calisthenic routines. Excellent work as always, Kasami-san.
Look, Sachi, I don't remember hearing anything about coaching. You kind of sprung that on me out of nowhere, you know?
I do apologize, however, I did so precisely because of my great confidence in your abilities.
Fine, but what was the heartless monster bit really necessary? The kids were quivering in the cleats.
I'm sorry about that as well, but you see, when there's no scary person around, the children inevitably lose focus, and the number of injuries grow quite notably.
I see, so that's why you asked me to come along.
A lack of tension gives rise to a lack of caution. When you're not concentrating, you're more likely to get injured. And when there's no clear top dog around, it's easy for a pointless fight to break out among the pack. So it would seem that there's a need for me to assume the role of a scary person in order to keep the children attentive and appropriately cautious. In that case, there's a woman I remember all too well who should serve as a useful point of reference. I'm referring, of course, to my master, Kusakabe Asako. A truly scary person isn't someone who breaks out in fits of rage or attempts to intimidate others with spasms of meaningless violence. When she was teaching me the job, Asako would most often stand by my side and watch my performance in perfect silence. Every once in a while she'd poke my head with a stick. If I missed to the right or left, she'd dab me on the appropriate cheek. If my shot sailed higher, she'd bring the stick down on the crown of my head with relish. Instead of speech, she communicated through whip. Her little jabs were always sharp enough to make my eyes water. Honestly, it pissed me off at the time, but if I stayed focused on my task and hit my target, the stick never came my way. The most dangerous stage of learning your job isn't the beginning. It's when you start to move past the rookie mistakes and gain something resembling competence. There's a tendency to get overconfident and overconfident and blunder carelessly in a big way. But even once Asako was no longer at my side, when I imagined her lurking watchfully nearby, my focus was always perfect. More often than not, human error is caused by simple carelessness. If giving the children a fierce glare from the sidelines can help eliminate that factor from this event, reducing the possibility of accidents or injuries, there is some value in me being here. The match raged on into the early evening. In the end, spurred on by my glowering attentions, Mishima Cape's team proved triumphant. On the unfortunate side of things, one boy from the opposing team, visitors from a nearby town, tripped and fell, skinning his elbow and knee. But fortunately both were minor scrapes, and he was able to return to the game immediately after being treated. After the match ended, we took part in a group barbecue that's apparently a post-game tradition. By the time that was over as well, the sun had already sunk halfway below the horizon. Given how clingy Amane is, I imagine that could become a problem. I'm very sorry to have occupied so much of your time, Kasami-san.
It's fine. Not like I had anything else to do. Glad to be of help.
Having finished cleanup of the barbecue and stowed the equipment in the storehouse next to the field, we returned to the key to the town council and then gave a quick report. It's already past 7. The children headed home before 6, which would mean we spent over an hour on the rabble. I don't even want to think about how long it would have taken Sachi by herself. But I must confess, I was slightly surprised. Are you an experienced soccer player, Kasami-san?
Not really. I do know the rules, but my only experience with the game would be what I picked up from PE lessons in elementary.
Is that so? Oh, it's probably still Sachi talking. Your instructions seem quite insightful, considering I was convinced you must have been a passionate member of the sucked community.
Hold on, what exactly is the sucked community supposed to be?
The game is called soccer, is it not?
Well, yeah, as long as you ask an American.
Then its devoted fans would be the sucked, if my English is correct.
You're extremely wrong. Frighteningly so.
Well, even if you aren't one of the sucked, I think your advice to the children was fully deserving of the rapt attention with which it was received.
You think?
Yes, I do. For example, when that child from the opposing team tripped and injured himself. Do you remember what you told him as he began to cry at the sight of his own blood? There are only 2 times a man can cry in public, when he loses his wallet and when his mother dies. And even if you cry in private, there's a severe restriction. Shed tears for others. The only thing you should be shedding for yourself is sweat. Remember that. Truly powerful words. I could almost feel my heart tremble and my loins grow moist. I very nearly took out my cell phone and tweeted, "The rain in Spain falls mainly on my Lady Jane." #wet.
I see. To be honest, I have no idea what to say to you at this point. A message.
I take my private use cell phone from my breast pocket and check the screen. The email's from a certain Asu Amane, and the contents? Where are you? Dinner's ready, so come back quick, okay? The digital clock in the corner of the screen tells me it's comfortably past 7. Not surprising she'd wonder where I'd gotten to.
Crap, I forgot to get in touch with Amane.
Did you have some prior arrangement with Amane-san?
No, nothing like that. Probably just sent the message because I didn't show up at dinner time. Wants me back on the double.
It's true that I forgot to tell Amane I'd be late, but it's not like she slipped my mind entirely. In fact, since I was planning to have dinner with Amane, I spent the whole barbecue with the soccer team grilling meat instead of eating anything. Is Amane-san angry, perhaps?
No, not a problem. I don't think she seems upset.
I hand over my cell phone to Sachi to give her a look at Amane's message.
I believe you're right. However, if Amane-san seems displeased when you return, please blame everything on me. Sachi was just too darn cute, so I couldn't help but lend a hand. It's all that criminally adult Sachi's fault, and so forth.
Sachi, my friend, are you familiar with the phrase, pouring gasoline on a fire?
Vaseline on a tire? An attempt to keep the rubber from drying out, perhaps?
That's a bit of a stretch, and yet I'm still not entirely confident you're trying to make a joke.
Ah, Kasami-san, this message seems to have an image attached to it as well.
Sachi reaches her hand to the cell phone screen and scrolls down.
What?
And with a strange little grunt of surprise, her face instantly flushes red. What's up? Something wrong? Slightly concerned by Sachi's reaction, I pull my cell phone out of her hands and look at the screen. A truly outrageous image stares back at me. It seems I wasn't just imagining that stutter sound I thought I'd heard in the middle of Amane's morning raid. What is she thinking? Amane, my friend, what am I going to do with you? Mind explaining yourself, my good Amane-san? No, I think I understand. You figured sending this over would get me wobbling straight home with an uncomfortable bulge in my pants, yes? Hey, Sachi.
Yes, what can I do for you, Kasami-san?
Just a moment ago, I said, I have no idea what to say to you at this point. Allow me to correct myself in retrospect. I was wrong. I've only now come to understand what it truly means to be lost for words. I'm sure that anything I say now would sound like an excuse to you.
Courageously owning up to your own mistake the instant it becomes apparent to you, how truly admirable.
A man doesn't show his tears to others, but that doesn't mean the urge to sweat from your eyes won't well up inside you every once in a while. I do manage to salvage at least a scrap of masculine pride from this situation, by resisting the desire to rush back to the dorm, burst into Amane's room and denounce her misdeed. Instead, I walk calmly back and pretend the email never happened, an act of restraint that allows me to maintain some meager kernel of self-respect.
That would be a rough summary of last night's events. I was so shocked I actually said "wah" out loud. Sorry about that. That message was just supposed to be a little joke. I didn't even think about the possibility someone else might see it. Yuuji never responded and he didn't bring it up at all last night. I kind of thought he hadn't even opened it. Hey, what kind of photo was it? I want to see too. Maybe when you're older. Much older. Sachi's the same age as me, and you showed it to her, right? Won't stand for this. Nobody showed it to Sachi, she just happened to see it. Anyway, the answer is no. The heck's up with that? You gotten pretty dang full of yourself over temporarily grabbing the position of girlfriend. If you ain't gonna show me, I'm gonna have to try it out for myself. Might wanna reconsider while you still got the chance. Try it out for yourself. What are you planning to do? Simple. Squat down next to the vending machine in the hallway, then wait my mouth open for only time to come by with some loose change in his hand.
Okay, that's really not going to work. At all.
Oh, you got some confidence there, Amane. But what, are you sure about that? Can you say that with 100% certainty?
Sure I can.
I see. Then I guess I got no choice to put the matter to the test. Sachin, take this! A Sharpie? What am I supposed to do with this, Maki-chan? I want you to write something on my face, on the left cheek. 1 go, 100 yen. And on the right. What?
I can do that, but this is a permanent marker, you know.
No matter! Come on, do the deed! Hey, stop right now. What kind of sick game is that? This ain't no game, woman. You suppressed a young girl's innocent curiosity, and now it's exploding in your face.
This is ridiculous. Cut it out right now.
Hey, can you people please keep it down? Do you have any idea what time it is?
It's our lunch hour, I believe.
Yep, that it is.
What about it?
Why are you all staring blankly at me? I'm trying to eat here. You people shouting about all this gross crap makes that really freaking difficult. The heck's this girl getting all worked up about?
If you wanted to join in the conversation, you could have just said as much.
I didn't say anything like that! I mean, who talks about this sort of stuff at lunch? How about you save it for a mixer or something when there's actually someone to flirt around with? I do apologize. It does indeed seem our discussion was rather poorly timed, considering the long, thick frankfurter in your lunchbox.
Oh, this here's a nice fat old sausage. Hey, Amane, which you think? This is the only chance.
Let's see. Maybe if I could tell if I took a few bites.
Unbelievable! What's going on here? Can you people just take a cold shower or something? I mean, why isn't anyone stepping in here? Where's Yuuji? Where's Yumiko? Where the heck did our voices of restraint go?
Oh, that's right. Sakaki-san is auditing an economics lecture at a private university in Tokyo, and Kasami-san has accompanied the principal for a television interview.
What? Television? What show?
I believe it's a local program on regional commercial channel, discussing the Japanese educational system, or something of the sort. It seems Kasami-san is accompanying the principal as an escort.
An escort? What the heck does that mean? And why would she have Yuuji do it?
Principal Tachibana has earned a good deal of jealousy from those who feel she's too young and inexperienced to deserve her position, so I believe he's primarily acting as a bodyguard of sorts.
Let's just cross our fingers and hope we don't end up seeing a scoop about them getting it on in the dressing room.
That's not going to happen. Yuji's plenty satisfied with what I'm giving him.
Oh, I wonder about that. We're not pretty dang selfish creatures, you know. Sure, he's lusting after Amane's firm young flesh, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least if he wanted a taste of Chizuchi's nicely broken in part as well. And from time to time, he might get a hankering from some unripened fruit like me.
Nor can we deny the possibility he'll be struck by the urge to torment a certain submissive maid until she squeals like a struck pig. It too, Sachan?
Oh my god, why is this conversation heading right back down this road? Forget it, I'm gonna eat somewhere else. Don't follow me!
Michiru-sama, where are you going?
Sharp!
Sharp, she says.
Sharp? Wanna have something to do with Sharp River?
I think not. What the heck is the Sha River anyway? The site of a fierce 2-week land battle in the Russo-Japanese War. More importantly, is it really alright to leave Michiru-sama to her own devices? Well, I do feel kind of bad, but that might be for the best. She did say don't follow me after all.
You sure about that one? The punk's definitely hiding somewhere in a little secret practice, you know, using their charges from a lunchbox.
Oh goodness, in other words, she's off mumbling, don't get the wrong idea while practicing her technique.
Talk about nasty. I'ma have to sneak up on her later and get a photo of her dumb old face.
Is this girl the spawn of Satan or what?
So, anyway, are you going to show me the photo or not?
I mean, come on, that's a little... I understand your reluctance, but I've heard it said that snatching away everything problematic from young people is a highly negligent approach to moral education. Kasami-san tells me that a true educator will allow their pupils to supervise access to even the most distasteful aspects of life, while striving to explain why they are problematic.
Bad educator! Bad!
Well, okay, yeah, but it's a little embarrassing, you know?
Oh, pretty timid words coming from Amane. Well, what's the big deal? I'm just gonna take a gander at it for educational purposes, you know?
Well, I guess Sachi did see it already. Fine, you win. Just a little look, okay?
Heck yeah, just a little. Let's see. What? What the hell's going on here? Nasty! Seriously nasty! No, it's freaking disgusting. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Well, how can I put this? Actually, I kind of, you know, found it mouth-wateringly delicious. No, that's not what I'm... Okay, forget this. That's long enough. Give me back my cell phone.
Whoa, this is kind of freaking me out. Man, this feels like a man leaving us far behind, you know.
That's not really true, okay? I mean, you'll do stuff like this yourself someday, Mark, and I don't feel like you need to rush things.
Oh, talking down to me, are ya? So now you're the big expert, huh? Who died and made you the relationship tips database? One boyfriend, I think you're the tiger girl made flesh?
You don't have to say it like that. I mean, I did snap up the only guy in this whole school, and I do feel kind of bad about that, I guess. Please don't. When all is said and done, deep down, none of us genuinely resent you, Amane-san. Maki-chan and I may be teasing you, but ultimately that's just our way of demonstrating we've accepted your relationship with the Kasami-san. Okay, then let me just ask you one question, Sachi. If Yuuji said he wanted to sleep with you, what would you do? Okay. Okay, so you just said a girl. What the heck does a girl mean? If I gave the okay, you'd let Yuuji take your virginity? Well, if Kazami-san absolutely insisted, I suppose I would.
Makina! Oh, what can I do for you for?
What would you do if Yuuji came up to you and asked to sleep with you?
Huh? Well, see, I'd feel pretty bad about stealing your mana money, so I'd probably ask if we could keep it on the down low.
My god, I really can't take the eyes of you girls for a second. Unbelievable.
Ah, jeez.
You're making me blush. Just to be perfectly clear, that was not a compliment.
It's all good, you know. Origins actually got a big old coward. Nobody's got guts to make a move on another girl now that he's got you, Amane. Plus, he's the sort of guy who lives by the golden rule. He wouldn't hurt you.
Indeed, to be perfectly honest, even if we persistently approached him, I imagine he'd say, "Stop being a pain in the ass," and brush the offer aside. You think? But Yuuji is a guy, so...
Amane, you may be Oni-chan's girlfriend now, but sometimes it seems like you really don't understand him that well. The guy's a freaking Spartan, like, sex is more dangerous than any battlefield or whatever. There's no way he's gonna cheat on you.
Perhaps the permanent close-up of a romantic relationship can sometimes warp our perspective on such matters. I'm feeling kind of anxious all of a sudden. What sets me apart from the other girls anyway? Something I have but the others don't? My ginormous chest, I guess? Hold on, that's it. How did I miss that?
Somehow I think she's hit on a really freaking stupid idea. Well, whatever, I kindly leave it alone. So if you take another picture, make sure to add me to the mailing list, okay?
Whoa, hold on. Might I be a genius? She doesn't seem to be listening, Maki-chan.
What a freaking joke. Jeez.
And that's where we'll end this episode. So, I don't think that the image on the phone needs to be edited out for YouTube's sake. But I would say it was pretty clear what was going on there. Well, anyway, we shall see what happens in the next episode next time. So, until then, take care.